for the live stream to go live. So let's just wait a little bit and we'll begin the live stream a little shortly. Okay, so there we go. I think we're now live. So welcome to my channel. This is Justin Cappuccino, Sashes&Scripts, and this evening we are going to be talking about the very latest updates and developments with the Miss Universe organization, with the appointment of Osmel Sosa with the Miss Universe team. Now, I want to preface first this conversation that this will be a two-part conversation where we will be talking about first what do we think are the changes in terms of how the Miss Universe pageant is going to be managed and handled with a more Latino-centric management at the helm. And then we will also be talking about how are we going to pivot as we select our representatives for Miss Universe in Mexico later this year, and who are the Miss Universe Philippines ladies that we think might be the right kind of girl that would align with what the Miss Universe organization may be looking for in a winner. So bago tayo magsimula, I want na sana lahat tayo participative dito sa ating discussion today. So if you have any questions or any comments, please do write the comments, your thoughts and opinions on the comment section below. And I will be reading them out a little bit later as we progress in our discussions. So I know that for a lot of you, you might be thinking that the Miss Universe organization has made so many changes this past few months that we're like suffering and spinning from the whiplash. Like we're having major headache because of the whiplash of the speed of the changes that is happening. So I know that this is understandable because first the changes have been coming in like month after month since January, and we haven't had the time to breathe, to have a breather in between. And I know that a lot of you, or probably most of you, have already been exhausted with what's going on. Some of you may probably have been checked out with what's going on with the Miss Universe organization, but I think the interest is still there, especially with the Miss Universe Philippines finals tentatively coming at around May 20th or 22nd of this year. I am not sure with the dates, but a designer who works with a candidate have mentioned in a conversation that the tentative date is probably on the 22nd of May. So let's now talk muna about what's going on. What are the things that's happening? Okay, so during there was an interview actually. I'm sorry about that. I think my camera suddenly is it's acting up. Okay, so my bad. Let me troubleshoot first. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, there. It's back. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, we are going to be talking about the changes and what does it mean for everyone, whether you're a pageant fan or you are a member of the national director or national franchise directors. We are going to discuss yung changes with the Osmel Sosa appointment with Miss Universe and the rumor that is going around regarding the change in eligibility rules, or rather change in the imposition of the eligibility rules per country, so or per national director. I think those are very pertinent na conversations because the Miss Universe organization is still the pageant that captures most of our attention, because looking at how the Miss World pageant happened in India earlier in the previous weeks, I've noticed that there isn't much interest with the Miss World na competition, where, you know, unlike Miss Universe or probably Miss Earth or Miss International, we get a lot of updates with regards to what's going on, what's happening, how are the girls doing in the entirety of the competition, and there isn't much engagement on any of our Miss World posts, unless the post is regarding our own bet. I believe that the interest for the Miss World has typically waned for the Miss Universe centric fandom that is the Philippines. So I think with regards to what's going on with Miss Universe, it's still as pertinent and as potent a conversation to have. Okay. So, what's going on first and foremost? Okay, so around a couple of days ago, we had this update. There is an interview by what program is it? I think the program is La Mesa Caliente. Let me double check. Yes, it's La Mesa Caliente, wherein guests like Raul Rocha and reigning Miss Universe Shanice Palacios were interviewed with regards to the Miss Universe pageant. Now, this interview, Raul Rocha, who is 50%, who owns 50% of the Miss Universe pageant, made it public that Osmel Sosa is going to be a new member of the organization. It has not yet been clarified or made clear what is the position that he will be handling, or whether or not it will be a management position within the organizational structure, main organizational structure. But there are speculations that he will occupy a position that is similar to Andres Felipe, who is the creative director of the Miss Universe organization. So we believe that these rumors might align well with what do you call this? With the Miss Universe, direction that we believe to be more Latino centric in terms of its in terms of the market that it's chasing. Okay, so I think that is, an observation, okay, at this point in time. However, we are also speculating that perhaps Osmel, with his expertise in pageant, might be given a role that is similar to that of Luciera, who is, very active when during the Trump and IMG eras of the Miss Universe pageant, as a coach, as a motivational speaker for the candidates during the pageant week. We're not sure if his involvement will be only for Miss Universe, or whether or not he is also going to be involved with Miss Teen USA or Miss USA. Maybe it would be a safe assumption to have that his involvement might just be for Miss Universe. Because as of now, the Miss Universe and the Miss USA and Miss Teen USA have a separate directors for the Miss USA organization as well as the Miss Teen USA organization. So we're speculating that perhaps the role that Osmel Sosa is going to play is something more similar to that of Luciera at as her role way back during the Trump era. Okay, so now Oh, we have here a question from Richard Pig. He's asking, do pageant vloggers continue to support Miss Universe despite the scandal only because the content is profitable? The thing is, the Miss Universe organization, the Miss Universe pageant and organization, whether we like it or not, is still a pertinent conversation to have. Simply because I don't think that there is much interest with Miss World. We have, if you look at several Filipino content creators on the Miss World pageant, there isn't much interest when it comes to updates because let's face it, the interest for that pageant has already waned. Unlike Miss Universe, that despite all of these issues, that all of these controversies, it still is able to capture, the interest of the general public, especially the Filipino pageant fandom. And I think that because of, the long-standing relationship that Filipinos have with the pageant, it's still, a very interesting conversation to have, to discuss, because the interest is still there. The only time that we will stop talking about Miss Universe is when everybody has lost interest with the pageant itself. And I think with regards to the situation regarding, whether is it, is still a conversation pertinent because it's still profitable, I think so. It's because the Miss Universe, regardless of what we feel or how we feel about the organization, the people within the organization, and the people who runs the organization, remains to be an interesting topic. So there is still a captive audience for the Miss Universe organization, whether or not it's flying up or going down in terms of its in terms of its image and its interest from the public. Okay, so as I was saying, Osmel is now a member of the organization. And because of that, there are now speculations that because the organization is primarily run mostly by Latinos and a handful of Asians, there is a move towards a more Latino-centric na market. I believe yung ganung perspective has its what do you call this? Meron siyang basis, kumbaga, because I think that because the organization is now more more skewed with a Latino management. I am thinking and I believe that yung attention ng organization ng Miss Universe organization ngayon is geared towards recapturing the Latino audience that has been split and that has been lost to other pageant systems. I think that because we have major interest among Latino pageant fans for Miss Grand International and Miss Supranational, the Miss Universe organization is trying to recapture, the dominance, their dominance on that area of the market. I believe that the Miss Universe organization in this point has already captured the Asian market as the premier pageant that is admired in Asia. And I think that because of that, they are now willing to seek their attention elsewhere, where their dominance has continuously waned throughout the years. So it does make sense that Osmel is now being courted or has been courted to join the Miss Universe organization. And let's not also forget that Osmel, with despite the the criticisms on his management style, on his definition of beauty. We have to remember that Osmel is probably the most decorated national director who produced 99% of Venezuela's 23 alpha pageant crowns. And we have to also remind ourselves that he is credited to have the only back-to-back, the first and only back-to-back wins at Miss Universe that has not been replicated ever since. This is a groundbreaking feat for Osmel because it did not happen during the first 40 years of the pageant. It happened during his time, and we have to also remind ourselves that when Osmel took over the Miss Venezuela organization as the head of the organization, he has produced consistently numerous crowns for the pageant. And in fact, as I am looking at his statistics, the 23 crowns or rather 24, I believe, the 24 crowns that Venezuela has won in terms of the alpha pageants, whether it's Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, and Miss Earth, 23 of those are under his management, under his directorship. So it means that despite all the criticisms that he's old, that he is his views on pageantry might no longer be as relevant as before, we have to remember and remind ourselves that when it comes to excellence in terms of producing winners, Osmel was on top of his game. And it seems that in terms of producing winners, in terms of looking out for girls of quality and potential winner, he still has his eye on that. And he might not have predicted or might not have produced winners year in and year out like he used to. We have to again be reminded that in 2018, he predicted the winner. He also trained Shanice, I believe, for a short time before she competed for Miss Universe last year. So the magic touch isn't completely lost yet. It's still there. And it also makes sense that if we're looking back at his illustrious career, he is one of those national directors who can boast that in 3 consecutive years, he is able to produce a Miss World winner in 1995, a Miss Universe winner in 1996, and a Miss International winner in 1997. And all of this within the span of 2.5 to 3 years. And that in itself, is a feat that no other national director can actually say that they are able to do so. At that time, during the 1990s, the alpha pageants are only the Miss International, Miss World, and the Miss Universe pageants. So there was no Miss Earth at that time. So he was able to capture that in just a matter of 3 short years. And then we can also remember that in 1980, he was able to produce 2 winners who eventually went on to become Miss World and Miss Universe in their international competitions. I think that's Pilin Leon and Irene Saez. They were both competitors in Miss Venezuela 1980, and Pilin Leon was sent to Miss World that same year, and Irene Saez was sent to Miss Universe in a year later. Then, of course, we also have, the double victories of Alicia Machado and Jacqueline Aguilera, who were both Miss Venezuela 1995, where Alicia again competed in Miss Universe in 1996, and Jacqueline Aguilera, who was actually rumored to be Osmel's favorite, was sent to Miss World, and they both won their international competitions. So that in itself gives us an idea on the potency of Osmel's power when it comes to producing winners. And that might be the reason why he is tapped to be with to be with Miss Universe organization several days back. So, yes, Josh Moore. Osmel also trained Miriam Kiambao, and that training was only for a week. Specifically, I think it's around 5 days. And look at the results. Miriam almost, won the Miss Universe pageant on her year. So, in terms of the results, we cannot question the potency of Osmel's eye when it comes to defining beauty. However, we also have to discuss that not everything Osmel is perfect. We have to also be reminded that Osmel's definition of what is beauty is quite limiting. The criticism when it comes to how he defines beauty is a little bit very being very narrow. Is quite understandable, because Osmel's definition of beauty is someone who is tall, slim, who is facially beautiful, and has strong catwalk skills. Never mind that she might not be as good of a communicator, as long as she ticks those other boxes, then she's the one that's going to be sent at Miss Universe. According to observations of longtime pageant fans of the Miss Venezuela pageant. There was even a rumor that the reason why Osmel didn't prefer Alicia Machado back in Miss Venezuela 1995. It's because she was shorter at 5'8", and then she was not the typical svelte, thin, model-esque type of beauty, wherein she had to go to drastic diets in order to be in the fighting form for Miss Universe. So all of those rumors has been a criticism on the way that he defines beauty. So there is very narrow window that you can fit in with his definition of beauty. And if he brings that to Miss Universe, then not everyone will be able to be that prototype, what he believes to be the beauty standard. So I think that there is there is a need for us to adapt to that situation, because ultimately it is not on him to change the perception of beauty, but it has to be a collective effort for everyone in the industry. So I believe that in order for us to be able to move past this, we need to first and foremost hope and pray that he that since his departure with the Miss Venezuela organization, he has already expanded his definition of what's beautiful, and we're hoping that at this point in time, the leaked video on the fake inclusion and fake diversity that was very controversial several weeks back would be something that the Miss Universe organization would be willing to reconsider, that they would open more their doors for women of various shape and sizes to become a potential Miss Universe. Okay, so there are some questions here, so let's go through it muna before we discuss further yung topic natin. Okay, there is a comment here from Josh Moore who says, friends si Madam Stella and Osmel. Yes, I think they have a very friendly relationship, but I do not expect that moving forward, this is going to be beneficial for us, because the Miss Universe Philippines is under a different organization, unfortunately. Okay, so maybe if the Miss Universe franchise is going to be moved back to Binibining Pilipinas, then maybe we can still use that trump card. Okay, Bella Mylene Nepomuceno says, the goddess look of Osmel, that's the type of beauty. Okay, I believe so. As I've said, there is a very, narrow definition of beauty when it comes to Osmel, and he's very particular. And not everybody, not every girl would be able to, fit that kind of standard. So I do hope that since his departure from the MVO, he has evolved a bit when it comes to his definition of beauty. M16 _4 DM boys. Yo, big dog, you trying to throw hands for $20? We can get some beers after too, or whatever. Okay, so continuing with Bella Mylene Nepomuceno, sabi niya, we saw a lot of video where he trains male and female models to become goddess looks. Okay, Oriental Josa, hello Oriental Josa, kamusta? Thank you for joining our live stream this evening. Hello, watching from Tbilisi, Georgia. I don't want to miss this. Yeah, I kinda agree because I think later on mas magiging interesting yung pag-uusapan natin dahil mas marami na tayong perspective when it comes to the pros and cons of what's going on with these developments. Okay? Josh Moore, sabi niya, kilos-kilos din sana si Olivia Kido, mas mataas ang rank niya kay Osmel. I think she has a very specific role, si Miss O, when it comes to organization, and I think that is fostering, relationships with different global markets for the Miss Universe organization, and I think this is more on the business side of the organization rather than the pageant side of the Miss Universe. So, okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, medyo masikip yung definition, medyo narrow yung definition ng beauty ni Osmel, but we have to also be reminded na kahit na narrow yung kanyang definition of beauty, it is something that works. Because if it worked for the Miss Venezuela organization, we are hoping that yung magic niya will be rubbed off doon sa Miss Universe organization, because he has been very exceptionally excellent with his role at Miss Venezuela back then. Now, the thing is, itong klaseng definition ng maganda, ng beauty, kapag nilagay mo sa Miss Universe, it will now make it look like napaka-specific yung hinahanap na ganda o na winner ng Miss Universe. So, it looks like, or it will appear as if that the Miss Universe is going to look for a winner that would please the Latino market. And this, definition of beauty is very Caucasian in terms of its perspective. So, doon sa mga fans who thought na, the Trump era was the best era that the pageant ever had, and they're wishing that the Trump era is back, then this is good news for you, because that is more likely what's going to happen. And I don't think that this will be looking good for Asians and Africans, because during the Trump era, the least served na demographic for the Miss Universe pageant were the Asians and the Africans. So we kind of have to be careful with what we wish for. However, there are also rumors that is going on with regards to the what do you call this? With regards to the Miss Universe eligibility rules. Ayan. And this is something na naipost ko na doon sa Instagram natin earlier with regards doon sa mga rumors, mga haka-haka that is going on at the Miss Universe behind the scenes. And the rumor is that the implementation of the diversity rules of the IMG era, Paula Shugart, Amy Emmerich era might be a provisional or can be optional for the national directors to implement. So, ibig sabihin nito, pwedeng in the future, national directors who probably don't want, trans women to compete and join in their national pageant can actually remove that in their eligibility rules, which negates, the woke na direction ng Miss Universe during the IMG Paula Shugart na era. And this opens the Miss Universe organization and pageant into, criticisms and praise, because it has pros and cons. Because una sa lahat, people might think that because of this imposition of eligibility rules, nawawalan ng standard ang Miss Universe, that it becomes a free for all for anyone who wants to join, and that is the reason why there is a declining audience for the Miss Universe in the Western world, because the people who still has interest with pageantry in the Western world or in the Western market are people who are more leaning conservative. So I think there is a not potent. I think there is an interesting discussion that can be had with regards to the removal of, or rather the yung pagiging optional ng mga eligibility rules na to, because it offers criticisms whether you are a pro or con with these changes. So again, at this point in time, it's still it's still a rumor. However, this might be something that we might be seeing, according to some of my sources. We might be seeing in the future. Okay, so let's talk muna about the pros. Okay, so the good thing about this is that it places the power back to the national orgs to have a say on how their organization, how their pageant is being managed. Because when it was announced that the implementation of the no age limits, the removal of height requirements, the allowing of mothers and pregnant women to join, and married women to join. These were all Miss Universe directives that anyone in the national director level would have to comply, would have to deal with. Probably, maybe with the exception of the transgender na ruling, because the organization's exact wording on that is that they should be legally recognized as women. So I think that is a little bit more difficult to implement, especially on countries that don't have a change of gender or change of sex is legal, where it's not legal, to change yung papers mo on that, or there is no legality on that sense as of yet. Okay, so this also puts, as I mentioned, the power back to the national organizations to find what works with them, because there are some, markets, whether it's in Africa, in Latin America, or in Asia, that is a little bit more conservative in terms of some of these rules, who are not in full agreement with all of these rules. There are some markets perhaps that are okay with allowing transgender women, but they're not fine with married women joining the pageant. So these are, some things that has slight nuances per national director, per country, per franchise, that needs to be addressed, that needs to be recognized. Because if this is something that, would turn away potential investors or potential sponsors of the pageant, it also puts into question, the long-term viability of the national pageant, because audiences are more likely, to be accepting of a pageant if they reflect, the same values and the same, stance of the fans on certain issues. So I think we need to remember, that one, national pageants are at the mercy of sponsors, because not every pageant is particularly similar to the situation of, let's say, Binibining Pilipinas, where its sponsors is its sister companies. They're not reliant on outside investors to invest on their pageants. They have to have either revenues rather. They either have to have revenues from franchise partners or sponsorships, because it's not enough for them to survive on the pageant tickets and what do you call this? The live event of the pageant, and if that's their only source of income, so they need, to expand where they get their money from. So we have to again be reminded that the pageants nowadays, especially under the Miss Universe organization, is more of a business-like for-profit organization rather than a organization that is supported by outside that is supported by people within the organization. It's not like Binibining Pilipinas, where it is a part of a conglomerate of businesses and companies that would funnel in funds for the pageant in order for it to have its finals or for its competition. So we need to remind ourselves of that. So those are the two pros that I see. One, it puts power back to the national organizations, and two, it maybe it could potentially address, long-term viability, because pageants under the Miss Universe organization is a for-profit na for-profit na businesses, so they need to be able to work with sponsors and investors on the pageant itself. Okay. Then let's talk about the cons. Okay. Of course, if there is a pro, there is a counter na pro na cons with everything that is a potential good for this this rumor. Again, as I said, nasa chismis territory pa lang itong rumor na ito, but if the organization decides to move forward with this in the future, meron ding mga hindi magandang pwedeng idulot yung allowing national directors, to pick whichever of these eligibility rules would they want to impose in their pageants. So first is that this is going to be bad for image, because it will look like it is a step back on diversity and representation, which was one of the selling points, the good selling points of Miss Universe last year, where we have a mother, where we have a plus size competitor, a transgender competitor, making it into the semifinalists. So that is a major step back in terms of optics. Now, the second one, also involving optics, is that this may look to be it might look as a band-aid solution with regards to the fake inclusivity video that leaked several weeks back on with regards to the meeting of Kun An, Raul Rocha, and the rest of the Miss Universe organization na people. So it might look na panapalbutas lang ito, and this is just, it will have the bad optics of making it appear that the Miss Universe organization is shifting the responsibility to the national level, whether or not they want to make changes with the organization in its rules, and then magiging problema ng national organization whether or not it will, it will make changes in who can apply for Miss Universe na pageant. So, kapag naging problema nila yon, if that becomes a problem of the national director, lalabas na walang liability si Miss Universe organization, because they now have placed, the burden and the freedom as well, to have the national directors select which rule or set of rules that they want to to impose on the national level na competition. So may siya in as much as it will help the national organization to be financially viable, because if a sponsor says, we don't want transgendered women in the competition, then the national organization can, make choices on that. Because again, we have to remember this is a for-profit organization, and if you are at the mercy of sponsors and investors, then you have no choice but to follow their directive, especially if you answer to a board of directors. So that is, something that the national organization would have to weigh, whether or not they are more likely to be open to competitors from the different na mga age eligibilities and eligibility rules that was imposed by Paula Shugart, Amy Emmerich, and the IMG era, or it will allow national directors, to make changes in these rules dependent on what works for their respective national organizations. Okay? So hindi siya madaling decision, guys. Dahil syempre, kung ikaw, as much as possible, you want to be open, you want to be accepting of more women to be able to join your competition, because if you're an organization, that has entrance fees, ganyan, the more people applying, the better for you. However, if you are reliant as well on sponsorships and investors and money from, people who sponsor the pageant, then you might have to take into consideration yung needs nila if it aligns with your organization. So hindi siya madaling balancing act. It's not an easy decision to make, because you have to balance being your values and your need to add partnerships to be financially afloat. Okay? So ano muna tayo? Let's go through the comment section first before we proceed doon sa conversation that would center on paano tayo maaapektuhan nitong mga changes na to. How are we as fans? How are we as the Miss Universe Philippines, na pageant should react in order for us to, to still be viable and stay afloat with this ever-changing landscape of the Miss Universe pageant. Okay, so let's start muna dun sa mga comment section here. Nasa na ba tayo? Okay, sabi ni Bella Maylene Nepomuceno, sabi niya, we have 3 Filipinos in the Miss Universe team, di po ba? Yes, we have. However, I think that their roles is more aligned towards business development rather than the management of the pageant. The husband and wife na combo, I think they are more, their roles are more towards sales, while Miss O, of course, is more on global partnerships, and that is, I believe, more towards the business side of the pageant, not necessarily, the management side, the one who makes decision on who is going to be the judges, who's going to be the people who is going to be sitting in the production of the pageant. So maybe that would be too much of a reach in terms of the involvement of Miss O. Okay, sabi ni Loyal Fan, narrow is equal to high standards. It depends on, your perspective, Loyal Fan 99. Kasi not everything has the same perception of things. Some may think that with Osmel having a very narrow standard, it means that he is exclusionary. Some may interpret that as having a standard. So it could be right, but it may be coming from different perspectives. Both may be right. But again, because of differences in perspective, it might not be the same thing that we all see. Well, we got 2 crowns out of IMG era naman. So that's true din naman. Okay, Bella Maylene Nepomuceno, again, comment niya is, we need to have like Miriam and Venus. Yan yung mga classic goddesses look aside from talk, walk, and powerful transformational na queen. Sabi naman ni Josh Moore is, feeling ko walang papasa sa beauty standard ni Osmel. I think naman meron, but probably very napakaliit lang nung population nung hinahanap niya when it comes to the winner. Okay? Sabi naman ni Loyal Fan 99, what I would like is the return of real-time scores displayed on screen. I kinda agree with that. Love Deb, sabi niya, hi Mama Jess. In Miss Nueva Ecia's intro vid, she said she didn't pass the UPCAT but she graduated in UP Diliman with flying colors, cum laude pa. How was this possible? You can... Okay, here's the thing with UP. If you cannot pass, if you didn't pass the UPCAT, you can take a course in another, university system and then transfer. The UP system is, very open for transferees, especially on non-quota course na mga programs. Love Dev, sabi niya, can you cite some examples on how she possibly got, yun na nga, Love Dev. Okay, Milk Tita says, speaking of Binibining Pilipinas, sir, this week is the final days of application. Any news of girls joining? Will you be at Araneta on the last day? So sure na Globe and International ang crowns ng Binibining Pilipinas? Yes. Globe and MI is the crowns na i-award in this year's competition. That, for me, is clear. So, I think if we are gonna expect new crowns, I don't see it happening. But who knows, baka biglang last minute may ma-acquire silang title. So I am not sure on the technicalities of that, but probably the things that I can be sure of is that the 2 titles that they currently have will still be there. In fact, kung ako tatanungin, I would rather prefer that for the edition this year ng Binibining Pilipinas, they only award 1 title. But then again, it's, I don't think Binibining Pilipinas or BPCI, would do that to Miss Globe, especially if si Miss Globe nagpakita ng loyalty with the pageant. So, Yun naman din naman yung maganda sa Binibining Pilipinas. If you show loyalty, they will be loyal to you as well. Okay? Mama J. Sel, Supli, Sawadi Crab, Auntie Jason, kumusta po si Mama Sobi? Kailan po ulit join sa live? We miss your combo. Maybe soon. Hindi pa natin kasi nakakapag-sit down to talk about Miss Universe Philippines. Which is perfect kasi kakatapos lang i-post yung mga introduction videos ng mga candidates, and I think pag-uusapan pa namin yung ano yung free date namin where we can discuss that, because paparating na yung main activity points ng Miss Universe Philippines. They are starting to do more sponsor ng mga related na mga activities. Kaya kita nyo din naman dun sa kanilang mga posts on social media. Very active sila with sponsor visits, and even their socials na pupuno ng mga sponsor related na mga posts. So probably the best scenario for the live stream combo namin ni Mark would probably before the Miss Universe, before the Holy Week or after the week after. So there. Nasa na tayo? Okay. Okay, so sabi ni Milk Tita, so go sa Araneta sa last day ng application, baka may bumulaga. I am not sure kasi I might have something planned on that week. Some very important stuff is happening that week na hindi ko pwedeng palagpasin. That is still at this point under wraps. Ayoko munang ipagsigawan sa mga tao because this is something that was very we're very lucky to have. So ayoko munang pangalandakan siya. Okay? I want this to go smoothly. Alam ni Mark ito, what event is I'm talking about. Alam ni Mark ito, he's invited on this event coming this week. So I don't want to jinx it. Ayoko muna siyang pag-usapan. Saka na lang natin siya gagawing public kapag natapos na. Okay? Nasa na ba tayo? Milk Tita, go sa Arnel. Yeah, there. Done na yung comment na to. Sabi ni Loyal Fan 99, basta good luck sa atin and lower expectations. Maybe just manage, manage our expectations and not to be too critical with our candidate, whoever she is, whoever she may be for Miss Universe this year, because Mexico is an unforgiving na venue for Filipina reps. We never made it into the semi-finalists under pageants, Miss Universe pageants held in Mexico, whether it's Acapulco or Mexico City. So siguro naman medyo babaan lang natin yung pagiging maangas natin masyado, yung pagiging overly critical natin with our reps, because the Mexico hosting plus the changes in the organization is quite a difficult task ahead. So with that, segue na tayo doon sa how do these changes in the Miss Universe organization gonna be, gonna affect our chances in Miss Universe later on. As I've said, Mexico was never kind to us when it comes to placements at Miss Universe. Boxing, yes, siguro wala tayong wala tayong issue dyan. Nananalo tayo against Mexican boxers. But when it comes to hosting at Miss Universe, we never really made it past a special award. And the last special award that we have was, I think, Teresa Licaros with a Miss Photogenic title. But from her and from her and going back to the first Miss Universe pageant held in, I think it was in Acapulco, we never really placed in Miss Universe kapag Mexican City yung nag-host. So, I think we need to go back to the drawing board. We have a great set of candidates at Miss Universe Miss Universe Philippines this year. So we probably need to recalibrate how we select our winners. I think that we have to be on the mindset that we need to find a winner that is the best fit on what a Latino market is probably looking for a winner. So this probably means, I'm not saying that this is a sure na thing, but it probably means that we might have to skew our choice towards selecting a candidate who is more on the Eurasian na heritage, na bloodline. Kasi if titignan natin yung tawag nito, if titignan natin yung Latino na market, very exacting yung kanilang standards when it comes to selecting a winner. If you have a Latino-centric management and they choose a set of candidates, set of selection committee and judges that is more skewing towards the taste of the Latin American market, then we might need to give them what they're looking for. So it means that we have to find someone who is facially gorgeous, someone who's tall, someone who is, the physical embodiment of what the Latino market is looking for when it comes to their definition of beauty, and someone also who has strong catwalk skills. So later I will be discussing 3 girls that I feel would be the best fit for that taste, for that very particular, very exacting na look that the market is looking for, so that hindi rin naman tayo walang choice. Hindi naman tayo yung tipong wala tayong pwedeng ipadala. So we need to understand that the way that we select a winner needs to be very much physically focused. Dito pumapasok yung argumento na 15% lang naman ang Q&A or maliit na porsyento lang naman yung ability to communicate, and bago sila dumating doon sa com skills na part, kinakailangan mo ng magpasarela sila ng patayan sa swimsuit and the evening gown competition. So these are the things that we have to take into consideration nowadays. So we need to find a girl that fits the kind of market that the Miss Universe organization is trying to serve. The next is we have to also be mindful of how our winner is packaged for the international competition. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging pabaya. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging overly sensitive na kaya naman niyang ilaban. We need to be supportive of our candidate regardless of we like her or we don't like her during the national competition, because at this point international na ang laban, and the least that we can do is offer our support. At some point we can also be critical, but offer solutions. You cannot always be critical without offering areas na ito yung pwede mong gawin to alleviate that weak points. Kasi kung if we are just going to be offering feedback na medyo negative siya, that's not gonna help the morale of our candidate. So we really need to to get along with or rather understand how to give criticism and back it up with possible solutions. And if you're familiar with the sandwich method, this is a management method where you sandwich, the good, bookend the good with the bad in the middle, so that something that is something that's a strong point is mentioned, something that is a weak point that's mentioned, and a solution based on yung weakness mo, using your strong points to to alleviate the situation. So I think we also need to be on board with that, kasi hindi lang trabaho ng team ni MUPH candidate na gawin, pag-isipan, i-execute yung kanyang strategies and yung kanyang campaign, but we also need to be on board with ano yung packaging niya, ano yung communications strategy niya, ano yung gusto niyong iparating, and be involved with her campaign, with her journey. And I think that is something that we can all be on board with. So we need to find the right girl for the market that the Miss Universe is targeting and looking to serve. At the same time, we need to be on board with and be mindful on how our candidates are being packaged, because yun yung kinakailangan nilang gawin in order to be noticed at the competition. Okay, so with that being said, I have 3 girls in mind that is currently consistent with what perhaps is the Miss Universe is looking for, if it is indeed focusing on the Latin American market in terms of looking for a winner. And on 3 spots, number 3 for me is Kyla Jean Carter. She speaks well, she registers well on photos, she registers well as well on video. So I think that is a good point. My only worry about her is that she's 5'7", 5'8", which is a little bit on the shorter side when it comes to the more 5'9", 5'10" na standard ng mga Latino when it comes to beauty. However, because of good body proportions, kayang itawid yung 5'8" or 5'7" to look much taller than you are. In fact, Miriam Kiambao, who is only I think 5'8" during that time, looks like she's 5'9", 5'10", because she has very good proportions. So I think styling wise, that is something that can be adjusted, or that can be touched up in order for Kyla to to look taller than she actually is. And of course, good footwear is also a solution to that, a possible solution to that. Then at number 2 is Crystalline McGarry. I agree that she is not the strongest facial wise among the candidates, but in terms of stage presence, in terms of pasarela na pwede pang iayos, she already has the foundations on that. She might be on the older na side at 33, I believe, or 30 something, but that's not an issue, I believe, at least for me, because she does not look she does not look her age. She actually looks quite young. Halos wala siyang pinagbago yung kanyang look as compared to, let's say, in 2016, 2015. So I think in terms of the overall na packaging, wala rin tayong masyadong headache with Christy, because she is backed by the likes of Mon Gutierrez, and she has a good team behind her. So I think that in itself is a strong na support group. Now, for my number 1, that I think is going to be a great representative for Miss Universe in Mexico, I would have to put in Victoria Vincent. Now, si Victoria has this very Eurasian na look. Very alta din siyang tignan. And she is quite tall at 5'9.5", I believe, or 5'9". And she has great body proportions. She communicates well. My only problem with Victoria is that when it comes to a lineup, she tends to fade into the background. And I think there is a work that needs to be done on presence, on commanding, being in command on stage, whether you're in a group or whether you're standing solo. I think that is the area where I think Victoria still needs to polish. However, in terms of visuals, in terms of yung kanyang mga fashion choices, she's always on point. Especially yung especially yung kanyang mga pictorials, whether it's the flying V na swimsuit pictorial or the gumamela structural na Axel Ke na dress for the evening gown portraits. I think she has a very, very visual na approach on the competition. So I think may na-comment ako sa isang post on Victoria where naisulat ko na si Victoria, when it comes to her attack for MUPH, tahimik siya pero matinik. She's not as as popular or as very everywhere as compared to the likes of Atisa Manalo, for example. But when you look at the things that she delivers in the competition, she does deliver, and she does deliver exceptionally. So right now, for me, topping of the list, at the top of my list, suddenly I have Victoria Vincent as probably, as of the moment, the best candidate to be sent to Mexico. Okay? How about you? Sino sa tingin nyo yung based doon sa mga pinag-usapan natin ngayong gabi? Sino sa tingin nyo yung the candidate that would be the perfect response to the very Latina-centric na market that it seems to be the Miss Universe is trying to recapture? Sino sa tingin nyo sa mga candidates natin sa MUPH yung talagang super aligned with that kind of vision or with that kind of strategy? And for me, that is Victoria Vincent. So okay, so nasa na tayo doon sa mga comments. Okay, okay, sabi ni Loyal Fan, okay, revenge really is best served cold. Whole IMG era, they were almost always sidelined. Now, Latinos own Miss Universe. That is why we need to make changes with the way that we select our winners. Kasi, if you can't click them, join them, diba? Find ways to adapt. We need to adapt with, with the changes in the competition. Sir Ronan is here. Hello, Sir Ronan. Sabi niya, hello, Sir Jason. Heart emoji. Heart emoji din, Sir Ronan. Thank you for listening in our live stream discussion this evening. Okay. Milk Tita, sabi niya, I hope Japan sends a good follow-up to Rio Mori. Again, pageants are a function of business as of now. More than finding someone like Rio Mori, it is best, I believe, to find someone who is commercial doon sa market na hinahanap ngayon ng Miss Universe. Where are we? Love Dev. Parang nafe-feel ko, fave nyo si Christine McGarry. Yes. She is a personal favorite as of this moment. However, I cannot also be totally biased with her because I see as well that when it comes to to whether or not she is the best fit for a competition in, let's say, in Mexico, I am now looking on other girls as well as potential Miss Universe Philippines winner. Kaya nga nilagay ko sa number 1 ko ngayon si Victoria Vincent because right now for me at least, siya yung pinaka nagtitik off ng lahat ng mga hinahanap ng mga Latino when it comes to a beauty queen. So I have to be fair as well, despite having personal biases, to give that to Victoria dahil siya yung nakikitaan ko ng potential na kapag siya ang lumaban sa Mexico, there is a possibility na ma-break natin yung Mexico curse na hindi tayo pumapasok sa semifinals. Guardian Angel says, one of the best and most trusted pageant personality, Miss Jessen Cappuccino. Okay, I'll take that. As long as, as long as there's no malice intended. Okay? Where are we? Sabi ni Loyal Fan 99, let's admit even on com skills, MVO level na rin. Milk Tita, small touch po on Gwen's sad finish. I'm sad for her, what went wrong. Okay, Milk Tita, here's the thing. I am as confused as everyone else because I thought that you rack points when you, what do you call this? When you earn a spot at any of the challenges. Kasi, di ba dati-rati may leaderboard sila. Yung kapag katapos ng isang fast track, then tinatali yung points that the girls are able to get under that fast track. Kaya may mga girls na kahit na hindi nanalo ng fast track, naiipon yung points nila on all other fast tracks. However, apparently, may nagbago. There were some changes again on the how they are selected. That the only guarantee that you make it into the top 40 or the semifinals is that if you win those fast tracks. So the only thing that makes sense nowadays is that you have to win those fast tracks because that's the only guarantee that you make semis. That is why I am very confused. That is also the reason why I posted on our Instagram and our Facebook that can someone make it make sense, these fast tracks, because in the past these fast tracks would earn you points to make it into the semis. However, nowadays, it doesn't matter whether you place on the fast tracks or not. The only thing that matters apparently is that you win the fast track in order for you to place at the top 40. So now the question is, then how are the girls being judged? Because if you're saying that they are only judged based on closed-door interviews, then that kind of sucks, because the candidates are giving their best on every stage of the fast track competition, and then they're not being rewarded for it. So all of those becomes just entertainment, or it's just for show. So what's the point of having fast tracks then, except for those girls who make who wins those fast tracks? How about the effort of the other girls who give their all? It kind of feels like the reward system is not balanced, or is not aligned with the efforts that the girls give. And I think that for me is a huge injustice on the girls who really work hard to do their BWAP projects, their Beauty with a Purpose projects, who invest on training, who invest on yung wardrobe nila for the top model and the designer world designer awards. What are those for? It doesn't mean a thing if the girls are not rewarded for it. Parang it's, how to say this, it's not transparent how they are being judged. Unlike in Miss Universe, that 60% of their scores are based on their closed-door interviews, and the remaining 20% and the remaining 40% rather is a 20% split between the performances at the swimsuit and the evening gown preliminaries. With Miss World, then how would you quantify the rubric? Okay, kasi here's the thing. Ever since that I became, an educator, when I grade, exams, there is a certain rubric that if it's an essay type na exam, or it's an oral exam where you are expected, to answer a question in front of a panel, and it's worth, let's say, 100 points for your midterms or finals. You have to give the students a rubric on what they are being graded on. You like, for example, if it's 100 points na exam, you might give them 50 points for the content and accuracy of content, and let's say validity of the facts within the answer. So let's say that comprises 50% of the entire 100 points. Then there is 30 points for clarity in delivery and communication skills, and then another 10 points for presentation of facts and evident factual based evidence, ganyan. Maybe another 10% on the communication skills itself, whether it's diction and delivery. So there is, a criteria, set criteria. Hindi yung, they are being judged on the interviews alone, but how are they being judged on the interviews? What are the rubrics under the interviews, so that it also makes sense for everyone who is, observing the pageant. So I think yung question dito ni Milk Tita, that is again the same thing that I am asking, kasi hindi malinaw. The Miss World is a very archaic na pageant, in my opinion. They never really progressed. Their pageants are so boring. The selection of the winners is unclear. How they are judged. So and also, I remember I had criticism several years ago that they would allow national directors to sit on the judging panel, na siguro I think na nabasa nila yon or napakinggan nila yon, tapos suddenly the year after biglang pinaupo nila si ALV doon sa judging panel. So medyo kinda, I don't know, it kind of feels like this pageant is really, really very messy. Sabi ni Milk Tita, Angelica Lopez could have been a great rep for Miss U this year. However, we have to be realistic na sa Miss International natin siya ipapadala. Ayun. Nasa na tayo? Sabi ni Loyal Fan 99, if Atisa is the anointed one, I don't know. That's a lot of work. Sabi again ni Milk Tita, Jezwa Hilar 2 is 5'7", I think 5'7.5" or 5'8", si Jessa. But looks really tall. Again, it has something to do with the proportions, with the body proportions. Okay, Agent James 007, good evening, Sir Jason. Any updates on Binibining Pilipinas po? May new crowns po ba for the 60th anniversary? Also, sana they will do like a tribute to past queens like they did in Miss France, a reunion of queens. I think they have something planned on that aspect. Dahil even queens from the 90s nagpo-post earlier this year about Binibining Pilipinas and its 60th anniversary. So, asahan natin na baka may pasabog ang Binibining Pilipinas in their finals. As regarding to new crowns, nabanggit ko na earlier, I mentioned that as of this moment, we only have Miss Globe and Miss International as confirmed titles for Binibining Pilipinas. Okay? Mama J. Supli. Auntie Jess, please be completely honest. Parang may konting inis daw po kayo kay Pia Works back even before what she did to Heart. Marami nang nagsasabi sa akin na basher ako ni Pia and all. Bahala na kayong humusga. What you see is what you get. Josh Moore, the advantage of VVV, di siya galing sa binibining Pilipinas, unlike Atisa, Christy, and Tiffany. I kinda agree. I think kung medyo allergic ang MUPH sa mga binibining Pilipinas alum, then perhaps Victoria Vincent is the best option, right? Nasaan ba tayo? Agent James 007, will there be artistas or star magic talents joining Binibining Pilipinas this year? Every year may artista na nag-join. 2022 Hipon, 2023 Rain Parani, 2024 meron po kaya. Sana si Michelle Vito, gusto ko po siya to join for MI. I am not sure. I haven't heard anything under Binibining Pilipinas this past few weeks. What I've been noticing though is that they have been doing a lot of throwbacks on their past queens, and I'm kind of guessing dahil parang hindi na bawala yung mga Binibining Pilipinas Universe winners nila dun sa mga tawag ito, dun sa mga posts nila. So I am guessing they're trying to say something. I don't know. Sweet. Nasaan na tayo? Art Laurent, Ola friend, curious lang ano kaya ang position ni Osmel sa MUO ngayon. Art, nabanggit ko earlier doon sa post ko on Instagram that it is possible na creative director yung tawag ito, yung position niya. But I am also speculating that perhaps his role might be closer to the role of Luciera back in the Trump era and the IMG era of Miss Universe. Okay, last na comment here from Bella Maylene Nepomuceno, yung sa fast track po sa Miss World, yung nasa finals lang nakapasok at winners. Other than that, lahat judge na ng decision po. Kaya nakakasad every year ng chance sila ng way how to get yung mananalo. Honestly, it's confusing for me how the judging process is done. So, I don't know. Maybe sometimes there are just some mysteries in life that we can never decipher. So, we just leave it at that. But then again, hindi naman ganun kalinaw yung integridad ng pageant na ito para sa ating mga Pilipino dahil ang dami ng mga instances where parang ang dami ng namekos-mekos tayo on this pageant. Okay? Love Dev, sino po ang crush niyo sa showbiz? Currently, I don't follow showbiz that much. I am not as involved on any teleserye. Wala akong pinapanood na teleserye. I am more currently to be honest, I am more invested with the works of Hayao Miyazaki, yung The Boy and the Heron niya na movie. I've watched it like 5 times already online, and I'm still trying to decipher a lot of the messages and the hidden codes on that movie with regards to yung intent, yung purpose, and yung message that it's trying to convey. So showbiz wise, I am not as invested because I don't find showbiz mentally stimulating anymore. I am more on, give me like maybe a documentary on fashion, or perhaps something that would give me more insights on, I don't know, Daniel Rosenberry's designs and thought process when he's designing for Schiaparelli. So something like that. Something that is more worthwhile of my time, because as you grow older pala, you find showbiz to be shallow and less of a mental stimulant. So conversations on celebrity culture, I find it quite not me, for the lack of a better word. Nasaan niyo tayo? Magtita, come to think of it, Madam SMA could have been a great link to the Mexican mafia ng MU. Maybe because again, with, if I'm not mistaken, Raul Rocha has a diplomatic relationship with Guatemala. because he is, I believe, a diplomat as well. So it does make sense kasi si SMA has diplomatic ties with the Latin community, being a representative ng tawag ito ng Philippines and Colombia. So I don't know, maybe that would be beneficial for us if under Binibining Pilipinas pa ang Miss Universe Philippines. Dansum SNJHM. My wish list for Binibining Pilipinas is new physical crowns and ₱1 million for both winners and a condo unit perhaps. Tuwa sana no kung gano'ng kalaki ang prizes natin for Binibining Pilipinas this year. But I do hope na yung chichi na 1 million ang cash prize would materialize. Or maybe a car. Why not, 'di ba? Mahal din kaya ang kotse ngayon. Okay, Agent James 007, sabi niya, ang gusto ko po sa Binibining Pilipinas, mas visible pa po ang queens nila. Kaso sa MUP, MEP, lalo na sa MWP na parang after mag-compete ay wala nang media appearances. Not like Binibining Pilipinas queens na very visible in the Araneta Center. Kinda. Yung latest na posters nila for yung March 15, 16, 17 na sale in Gateway, it's with Rain and si Angelica. So yes, parang kahit papaano all year round may activities yung mga queens, and whether it's an opening of a new store, whether it's Dairy Queen, Pizza Hut, meron pa ring mga public appearances yung mga winners ng Binibining Pilipinas. So that's good for them as well. Kasi understand na bawat public appearances nila may bayad yung mga queens. So that's good. Isipin mo na lang, sabihin man natin na kahit na maliit-maliitin pa ng mga ibang mga fans, yung Dairy Queen, yung Pizza Hut, yung Taco Bell. But the point is, every public appearance, bayad ang mga Binibining Pilipinas queens. So, imagine na lang kung magbubukas sila ng 20 stores in, let's say, 6 months. 20 stores within, a span of 20 stores within 6 months. Bayad sila for those entire na appearances nila. So, that's good. Good money as well. Mel Alarcon, sabi niya, super big deal po ba ang com skills sa Miss Universe sa Mexico or gandahan ang labanan? That is something that we still need to make sure of. But we know, physicality-wise, very exacting yung hinahanap ng Latino audience when it comes to, beauty queens. But when it comes to com skills, that is something that we still need to observe, especially with the coming Miss Universe in November, dahil doon natin makikita kung importante pa ba ang Q&A sa Miss Universe pageant. Because looking at the Q&A ng top 5, top 3 natin in Miss Universe in El Salvador, I can honestly say that when it comes to the weight of the answer, the content of the answer, it was Shanice who actually really delivered when it comes to the top 5 and the final Q&A. Kasi after you translate yung kanyang mga sinabi, mas may gravitas yung kanyang answers. Okay? Agent James 7, bakit sa yaman ng mga Arenetas with the new Gateway Mall, sana bilhin na nila ang franchise ng MUPH? That is a very personal na tawag ito na decision ng Araneta Group of Companies, dahil if they're not aligned now with yung values and principles of the new organization, then what's the purpose of them trying to buy the franchise away from the current MUPH organization? Parang it does not make sense na mag-invest sila ng ganung karaming pera when the values of the Binibining Pilipinas does not mesh well with the values of the Miss Universe organization. Parang ang hirap naman na ipilit just because nasasayangan tayo doon sa title. Okay? Nasaan na tayo? Pageant Fan NYC says, Hi, VVV for sure top 3. Taguig, Pampanga, and Atisa, great choices too for Mexico. Any hint of your mysterious event this week, pageant related? Hehehe, smiles. Not really. So there, yun na yun yung clue. Nasa na ba tayo? For Tita, sabi niya, jackpot lang MUPH kasi artista si MMD. If hindi, walay din. DQ, Pizza Hut are great leading brands sa US. Hello. Okay, Josh Moore, saan po kayo graduate? Anong course and honor? I am a graduate of the University of the Philippines. I took up BS Clothing Technology and I graduated in 2004. Okay, sabi ni Yari NCDB, good PM po, negative ang feedback sa pagpasok ni Osmel sa NUO, lalo na from Africa and from Afro-Latina side. Any thoughts po? I kinda understand the pushback from Osmel because I remember Osmel in an interview once said that the black Latino girls, the beautiful black Latino girls are in Colombia and they are not in Venezuela, and he got flack from that, and he actually called black Venezuelans fea, which is, I believe, ugly. I cannot remember the where that interview was, but I think it was a British documentary where I watched that clip from Osmel. And Osmel is very unapologetic with that kind of criticism as well. He would blatantly, say that you need to lose this much pounds for any prospective na candidates for Miss Venezuela, and usually, those things that shock the Western world is not much when it comes to the pageant crazy na countries. Labasan ng CV, nagawa ko na yan. If you want to look at my curriculum vitae, you're free to search me on LinkedIn, and there you will see my history, my employment history, and all the companies and all of the brands that I work for. Okay? EF Chicago says Arenetas are not probably interested in Miss Universe anymore. I kind of feel that. Kasi hindi naman sila yung tipong maghahabol for mga ganitong mga franchises. Art Laurent, nung sumali at nanalo si Atisa sa Binibini in Pilipinas at Miss International, ang ganda niya. Pero ngayon parang nahuhulas ang beauty niya. I think ang problema dun sa packaging ngayon ni Atisa Art is yung they make her look very tanned. That is not really a good look on her. EF Chicago says, hoping we have a great batch in Binibining Pilipinas 60. I hope that too. Nasaan na yun? Agent 007 says, true ka for tita, wag maliitin ng ibang fans ang DQ, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. Mayaman lang like Arenetas, kaya wag this is the problem when you don't put punctuation marks. Ang hirap niyang basahin. Okay? Mayaman lang like Arenetas. Kaya mag-avail ng master franchise dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya being related to this brand is a privilege. Nasaan na ba to? Mama J sells supli, sabi niya, so curious by Heart Evangelista followed Mark Sobrahani, but didn't follow Sashes&Scripts. That's because Sashes&Scripts is a pageant na pageant na how to say this, pageant na account. We're not solely on the what do you call this, solely on the fashion na na sphere. Fashion is a intersection of our personal na day jobs and our passion project, which is pageantry. So I don't expect Heart to what do you call this, to follow us on our social media. But I am glad that there will be something later on that I think will show you how Heart is a very, very nice person. Okay? So there. Dansum, SNJHS. Tinanggal na niya yung kanyang comment. Okay, so I think that's the, that's the entire comment section. Nabasa na natin lahat ng mga comments ninyo, so I hope na satisfied ang lahat. So to close up yung ating discussion for this evening, I think the Miss Universe organization will be having more changes as we progress along with the with the year, especially leading towards November. I am sure na hindi ito yung huling pagkakataon that we will be hearing something of a new announcement from the organization itself. I think this is the time where the Miss Universe organization is continuously reshaping and shaping itself in order to be more viable, in order to be more business savvy, in order to be more to strengthen its brand, so that mistakes that happened in the past won't be repeated anymore. I think that in terms of the market that the Miss Universe organization is trying to capture nowadays, we need to pivot towards that and really be adaptive when it comes to changes within the organization. We have to understand that all of these are going to be growing pains. So, huwag tayong maging masyadong sensitive when it comes to these changes that it's always a negative for us. Maybe there is a opportunity that we can, I don't know, for the lack of a better word, na pwede nating samantalahin, that we can take advantage of. I know that sounds terrible, but if you're familiar with Game of Thrones, Littlefinger said that chaos is a ladder. So in every mess, there is always an opportunity there to either learn, to either grow, or to take advantage of, to improve. So we only need to find, the silver lining, to find the opportunities, the hidden opportunities in all of this confusion, in all of this, mess. So final mga comments here from EF Chicago. Sabi niya, I think with Atisa, we got used to her Miss International styling for years, so it's difficult for her current styling. I agree. I'm still trying to figure it out. Somewhat confused about her right now. Same as well. She doesn't look consistent in her public outings versus the photos that she releases on her social media. JB Sarmiento says, true, back then Osmel was known for not being favorable towards black beauties, but it was a surprise when she crowned Carolina Indriago as Miss Venezuela 1999, who is of African Venezuelan heritage. Yari NCDB says, advantage to kay VVV dahil isa siya sa bet ni Osmel nung sumali siya sa MUPH. Like talaga niya yung mga matatangkad. Art Laurent says, please don't forget to like and share this live stream. Thank you very much, Art, for plugging. Please, right now, I don't see kung ilan yung nag-like pa sa ating live stream. So please do leave a like, leave a share or subscribe to our channel as we try to grow more our channel this past few days. And it's been a blast seeing this channel grow. So I hope na lahat tayo grow together in this channel. Okay? So there, thank you very much for everyone who joined in our live stream. Please do leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and I hope na the next time na magkikita tayo, whether it's a live stream or it's a video, magugustuhan niyo yung topic natin in that future episode. Okay? I hope to see you again soon. We might have one last live stream before the Holy Week comes in. I'm not sure if we're going to do it on a Saturday or perhaps maybe we can do it a little bit earlier, or maybe on a Friday or a Thursday. So I do hope na antabayanan ninyo yan. I am working on something that I think matutuwa kayo later on, because this is something na suddenly just came into my lap, and I am hoping everything runs smoothly for this event next week. Okay, thank you very much for everyone, and I do hope to see you soon in our next episode. Okay, bye everyone, and have a great weekend ahead.